Tomorrow night, our relationship hits the rocks.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the New York State Fair and environmentally unfriendly weed. Okay, so a question that a bunch of people had about New York, we talked about it yesterday, but a bunch of questions are mainly about what the policy is around public smoking in New York, because you have other places like Massachusetts where it's pretty frowned upon. Most places it's pretty frowned upon. However, New York went out of its way to say that they are going to treat marijuana like they treat tobacco. So it's going to be allowed in public spaces. Anywhere that you allow tobacco, they allow marijuana. And what that means is that the New York State Fair, this big fair that happens in Syracuse every year, I don't believe it happened last year, of course, but this year it's supposed to start on the 20th, so in 2 days, they are going to allow pot smoking. So it's going to be a different state fair for sure. And there's going to be the smell of pot in the air, which kind of is interesting because you typically smell popcorn, not pot, at these fairs, but they're allowing it this year. So it will be a sea change. It will be, the more you smell, I live in the Melrose district of Los Angeles, so I smell pot all the time, constantly, but the more you smell it out in public, the more you kind of just accept it as a thing, as something that we're all getting used to. And I think it's important for things like this to allow pot smoking out in public. Anyway, so that's happening in New York, so that's good. A small story that I don't think should be surprising is that a poll finds that half of Americans have tried marijuana. That to me is almost on the small spectrum of it. I feel like there would be more Americans that would have smoked marijuana, but the fact that there's half, and again, it's a poll, so this is all volunteer information. There are, of course, going to be more people lying and saying that they don't smoke weed than there are people lying and say that they do smoke weed in a poll like this. So if anything, it's a bit higher. So yeah, it kind of made a little bit of waves and a lot of people picked it up, but I don't think it's that surprising. Half of people in America have smoked weed in the past. Great. And finally, here's a story that, you know what, gets me a little annoyed. There are 2 California cannabis companies that are being fined for breaking environmental laws, and that's a problem because, my first reaction here is, come on, guys. We do not want to be the people who just take the place of any kind of big pharmaceutical, any big food companies that just like are only out for themselves. And what they did specifically is they, polluted a stream with diesel fuel, hoop houses, pesticides, herbicides, rodenticides, fertilizers. Basically, they polluted a huge stream. They graded a road through the stream. Mainly, it seems like what happened here is that they allowed a lot of their pesticides and things to go into the stream and basically polluted a lot of the wildlife that was happening in that stream, so a lot of fish and things. It's a bummer. They are being fined, or what is the 805 Agriculture Holdings are being fined about $40,000. Medical Investor Holdings are being fined $50,000. And Verticals being fined $30,000. A bunch of people are being fined, and this, I hope, is a wake-up call. I hope that it kind of reminds people that just because it's cannabis doesn't mean that they have a carte blanche, that they can do whatever they want, and that there is such a thing as organic marijuana. And maybe we'll start to see that kind of pop up, especially in California. I, for one, would be in line for something like that because this is frustrating to me, and I don't want this to tarnish the reputation of these large farms that are happening in California. So hopefully we see some change from something like this. And that's all we have today. We'll be back on Friday with some more stuff. See you then.
Can I just be honest with you? I'm so stoned. I just got myself a hot dog in Canada. Look at my eyes, I'm whacked as fucking. Are you kidding? Wow.